He forced me to listen to him masturbate. r/us credit cheaters of Reddit. Why did you cheat? I have no idea why I did it. She was married. I was single back then. We became good friends at first, but when she noticed I treated her with more kindness than her husband did, she started falling in love with me. Her previous relationships had created the idea within her that sex was automatically a part of a relationship. She started seducing me more and more obviously. I didn't want to on an intellectual level, but I was virgin, young, and I couldn't resist her. I was in love with her too, although I admitted it way later. Several months in, I got into a relationship. She was devastated, and the affair kept going for about a month. Then I committed to my new relationship and we went our own paths. We never talk to each other anymore, and I'm really sad about losing such a good friend, but I know it's for the better. I have cheated once in my life, and will tell you one thing. People choose to cheat, and people choose to continue cheating. Some people, such as myself, learn from their past and choose to move on. For me it just sort of happened. But after it did, I told my partner and we broke up for a while. After I gained his trust back as friends, we got back together. I know people who have cheated, many people. And this is the distinct difference between the two types. The people who learn and move on from it, and those who continue to do it. It takes a step to be honest. He told you, so he's being honest with you about his past. But ask yourself, do you think you can trust this guy, even if you know he won't do it to you? Is this something that will cross your mind every now and then? Do you think you will be alright with him hanging out with female friends alone? But no, the phrase once a cheater, always a cheater isn't entirely correct. Because people can change, only if they want to. Edit. Many people are asking for what I meant on it just sort of happen. The reason I left out the details is because I believed it was not irrelevant to giving ops advice and a lot happened. Obviously I did not tell my current boyfriend it just sort of happened, since everyone is assuming and wants to know I'll tell. To sum it up the best I can, he came to me saying he missed me and wanted me back. Now, we were in a 3-year relationship and honestly he was my only friend because I was picked on and saw as weird in my high school. So when we broke up, the reason is because my parents did not trust him and sent out my uncle to stalk him. It was the last straw for both of us. I was emotionally devastated for 3 months. Met my current boyfriend in college and we started a relationship. My boyfriend and I both had our separate issues. I was his first long-term girlfriend, and he got too excited and was also emotionally withdrawn, and I had touch anxiety and was not over my ex. My ex and I were still friends at the time and he came to see a play I was in. I thought he was going to go back home, since he lives 2 towns away, but instead he spent the night. I did not make this decision, my parents did. The next day, he said he wanted to talk to me. He asked for me back, said he missed me, and we both got emotional. I started thinking back on all the good times. He had kissed me, and I didn't pull away. No sex whatsoever. I pulled away, and ran upstairs and cried. After, I video called my current boyfriend, and told him I kissed my ex. We broke up. 2 weeks later, me and him talked about it. I said to him straight up, that I was going to work hard to gain his trust back as his friend. He told me he didn't want to lose me because I had helped him and he tried new things and became more open and less timid. We communicated our issues and we still talked every day. And every day I kept apologizing for hurting him. When I asked him why he was willing to give me a second chance at being friends, he explained to me and 2 of his friends who don't like me that he knew that I meant what I said and said what I meant. I video called him and he saw I was devastated. I told him the truth, and I didn't even wait until Monday. It was on Saturday I called him. Also, he didn't want to just put it over my head, and he feels that everyone deserves a second chance. That's his reasoning. The getting back together was that we were watching movies on his bed and he kissed me, and we dry humped. I'm still a virgin, and intend to keep it that way until I get birth control. We are still together, and I haven't had a conversation with my last ex since last month. I found his ukulele and asked if he wanted it back, and he said throw it out. Am I shitty? Of fucking course. Does he deserve better than my ass? Damn right. We improve each other, and we both have learned a lot about what we want. I treat him like the damn king he is. We started off rocky because we started off extremely confused about how we felt about one another. But now we are happy and all that matters. I'm a male and I have cheated in the past. I was in a bad part of my life and I had gotten into a relationship with a girl that was annoying and abusive. Normally, even in that circumstance, I wouldn't see myself as someone who could cheat, but I did. I cheated on her at the beginning of the relationship when we were a few states apart because the opportunity was there and it was easy. And towards the end of the relationship I took another girl out on a date that ended in a kiss. I was basically just looking for a way out at that point. Once me and her had broken up, I started dating this other girl like the day before I went to visit home again a few states away. At home, there was a girl that had always been into me and we hooked up for the 2 weeks I was home. So I had cheated there too basically, but me and her were only dating for a day, so we weren't really official. But when I got back I continued to date her until I went on deployment. When I was on deployment we ended up breaking up pretty quickly because she was lying to me and hiding stuff all the time. She blocked me on Facebook and tried to play it off like it was just some normal thing and that I was overreacting to some dumb internet shit. But I wasn't having it, so I broke it off. After the deployment I started dating who is now my wife. If you ask me, I didn't cheat on her, but I definitely crossed a certain line, and if you ask her, I cheated on her and she forgave me. We had dated for a few months and ended up breaking up because she was being shady and I didn't want to deal with the shady stuff she was doing. While we were broken up, I had gotten a few close friends at work, but about 4 months later, me and now wife got back together, but over long distance. About a month after we started dating long distance, one of my close friends was raped. Friend was really destroyed about the situation, could barely sleep, had regular nightmares, always felt like shit. Well, because we were close, she came to my house to chill out, and we end up close enough that we theorized that cuddling could help her sleep. Before we even started cuddling, I straight up told her I have a girlfriend. It's not going any further than this. And that's what it was. We cuddled a few times on my couch and she would pass out while I sat there watching a show or something. I ended up not telling my now wife at the time because I knew how she would see it, when in my head I knew I was doing it for the right reasons. Well, one person found out and at some point accidentally said something about it around my now wife, and it caused a whole big scene and a lot of fallout. To this day, when she's drunk and upset, sometimes she'll bring it up, and it breaks both of our hearts because she legitimately thinks I cheated on her, and I legitimately feel like I was just helping a friend in a way that definitely crossed a line but wasn't cheating. If you only knew my intent. Overall, I cheated in the past because I was in a messed up place. And as I was coming out of the messed up place, there was one last thing that I did that crossed a line and was bordering cheating, even though I never meant it to be. But if I was in the place then, mentally, that I'm now, I would have either talked to my girlfriend, now wife, about the arrangement right away, or I would have not let it get close to happening at all. As it stands now, I can tell you, without a doubt, that I would not cheat again in my life. Never something I'll ever be proud of, but back in 2015, I was in a very abusive relationship. I was molested when I was young, so I always detested sex and the though of it would disgust me. Just a note. Anyways, this guy was verbally, psychologically, and sexually abusive towards me. He forced me to listen to him masturbate and coerced me into showing parts of me that I wasn't comfortable with. This was after I told him of my trauma. With this, he either left me lonely or would constantly bully me to a point where I'd cry myself to sleep a lot. During that time, I met a really sweet girl that I loved to rollerplay really goofy stories with. I was into anime at the time. We got really close, and so I sought affection and comfort from her. I had genuine feelings for her, but felt stuck as I couldn't leave this guy as he had unpredictable behavior and refused to let go. Eventually, with the help of my best friend, I finally got out and dated her for a while until she ended up cheating on me too. I feel horrible nowadays for it, but would never think of doing it again, especially now that I'm with the love of my life, but can also understand why past me did it. I did cheat out of anger and I wanted to hurt my ex. He was entertaining others girls holding their hands and sexting them. I didn't do the right thing because as soon as I cheated on him with my ex before him, I cried and I told him I cheated and that we should not be together, and after a few months I broke up with him because he didn't deserve this. I have a very guilty conscience, so I could never do something and hide it. Now I'm in a committed relationship for 2 years and we live together, and I'd never dream of cheating on him. For me I did it out of spite and revenge, which was a bad reason. But that was the first and last that I ever cheated. I was stupid. Only time I did it, I was on the way out with my current GF. Girl that I had mutual feelings for was on the outs with her BF. Too many drinks later, and we are going at it against a wall. Woke up the next day, broke up with my GF. Girl didn't leave her BF. Moved on. Have an amazing wife and life now, but this mistake will be with me forever. I was the guy who said I would never cheat, and now I'm not that guy. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing and like the video. I hope you have a nice day.